What's up? Carpets and
Hi.
Coffee, episode 57. Sorry, Citrus
thank you,
Tigers.
ma'am.
What is this, Robert? Sorry, Citrus Tigers. What's happening there?
Huh?
Oh, so I don't know. Oh, so I just want everybody to know. I didn't realize that Colubrid and Colubroid Radio wasn't uploading to YouTube. Carpet Cliff Notes. What was it? There's two other ones that weren't uploading.
Student of the Serpent?
Yep. And the bow one I put up there now. But for whatever reason, they weren't going to the YouTube channel. So I made some playlists with each individual podcast, and they just unleashed all of those podcasts into the world. So sorry if your feed is going to be overrun with NPR network podcast.
Oh, and it's going to be colubrids and boas too.
Yeah.
You're really fucking with them.
Oh, man. So what's up, guys? How you been?
Riley.
Good. What?
Oh, nothing, just you. How you been? That's your cue.
What? I've been upgrading animals into bigger enclosures and appreciating that. Yeah, just like some of the racks that I have that hold different size tubs, I've now outfitted with the bigger size and upgraded like a bunch of like yearling and 2-year-old and 3-year-old animals, and
nice.
Very aware of how little space I have, and feeding is gonna happen tonight. I'm excited because a lot of the animals are stepping up in meal size, so it's really cool to see a lot of these babies growing up. And now that all my eggs for the pythons and stuff are on the ground, I realize I can start looking at what I want to do next season. So although nothing's hatched, I'm starting to make
You're
that.
already thinking about next.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. It's just there's always so much to look at, and once you start realizing, like, oh wow, these animals that I've been growing up for the last 3.5-4 years, they're right at the cusp of breeding either this coming year or the following year. You really start to realize that like all this patient like raising babies up that you've been sitting on for years, it's finally here.
Man.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Awesome.
It's cool. I'm just I was never in a lull per se, but I am like super, super excited on carpet pythons more than ever. I don't know why. Nothing has changed other than
Because they're awesome, man.
The flame is burning hot. The flame is burning high. The fuel is on the pyre. We're burning down the city, and what else I realized was that I haven't had this few of animals in my care in at least 2, maybe 3 years, because I'm under 75 snakes right now. I haven't had
total.
Yeah,
really?
Me too.
Yeah, that's including my fiance's, ball python from however long. But that's like everything, and it's just kind of weird because I'll come in here on some days and cleaning, it's just like 15 minutes. I'm like, really? That's it? Huh? I thought I would have more to do.
That is a very nice feeling when you don't have 300 plus snakes to clean. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I don't know how I did it.
But I'm not gonna get disillusioned, because if I have all these projects and each year yields a half a dozen to a dozen holdbacks, then I'm that number isn't gonna stay low for long. So
yeah,
man, I feel that, Riley. Next year is gonna be the first year for me that I can actually pair snakes that I raised up from little neonates.
Oh yeah,
it's just going to be a total different experience. I'm really excited. Yeah.
Wait till you breed snakes you produced.
Yes.
Right.
Well, since I worked with all these freaking 4 years to maturity snakes, it's going to be a minute.
We got a while.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I've gotten some males that I've produced to breed, but not females yet.
Yeah. Nice.
Not yet.
Yeah. The Brettles have started locking up, which is a welcome sight.
Yeah.
I was starting to get a little worried. They were like slightly behind where I was this time last year. I had already had a bunch of visual locks at this point, but I don't know. Maybe they're just a week or two shifted backwards this year. And now this morning, like 3 out of the 4 were locked up in the bin. So good to see. Makes me happy. One of them went off food already. Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Mr. Centralian Exotics. When you the temperature's up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you start feeding right away with those, or do you just put them together?
I fed first. Yeah. So I warmed them back
1
up.
meal, 2 meals.
Go ahead. Yeah. I warmed them up over a period of 2 weeks. Much faster than slowly cooling them down. I feel like, you don't have to really baby them on the way back up. And then I do a very small meal for everybody to kickstart the systems. Like I'm talking, weaned rat small. And then I do like more of a regular size meal, maybe a week later. And then I give the females, not the males, something pretty dang sizable shortly thereafter to trigger the sheds. So 3 meals, try to trigger a shed, and then pair.
So after the shed, has the male shed as well, or no?
Sometimes they do, female. Sometimes they don't.
But it's really the female that you're paying attention to.
That's the one that I am purposefully trying to induce the shed to get those juices in the air.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And the one that went off food is one of the hypo het stripes that laid almost a month, like three weeks before all the other ones last year. So it makes sense that she'd be the first one to show signs if she's staying on turn. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Western blackhead shed out as well. So unless I'm getting absolutely bamboozled, then this would be the post-ovulation shed. So we'll see.
Fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What's she doing behaviorally?
Staying very, very tightly coiled and soaking up heat.
Oh boy.
That's what I was hoping you would say.
Oh
yeah.
You're all doubting yourself in the chat there. Like, I think she reabsorbed, guys. And that was the one question that was, in my opinion, well, like I'm not there. I can't get hands on her and see her, but
right. She definitely is not as swollen looking, but that's probably just because when I saw her at the heat of ovulation,
now
I fooled myself.
Now you know she's capable of swelling up too.
Yeah, exactly. So, the other thing too is blackheads don't lay like colossal clutch sizes the way, the Brettles had 20, 25 eggs for me. I'm probably looking for 6 in this case. So it just looks different, like because of that as well. But
I'm starting to doubt our female at the shop too. So I know the feeling. Yeah.
Did you see any ovulation with her? Did she swell up and go into shed, or that hasn't happened yet either?
If she did, I missed it.
Okay.
I haven't been in there as much. I've had to do so much other stuff, but Grant's been in there, so I'm not sure.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, because I remember the pictures from last year that you were sending me. It was super obvious.
Oh yeah. It looked like
she was fully inverted.
Yeah, and it looked like she ate a pig. And she went off. Yeah, she went off food, I think, for a bit. This year, she's like she's sketchy about opening up her tub right now.
Oh yeah, they can be. I got freaking nailed today.
Nice.
On an Instagram live.
Did you? Oh shit.
I was like, I have an hour. I'll just like go live on Instagram and talk to people about snakes.
Right.
Luckily there's only like 4 people watching, so I don't feel as embarrassed. But I was like, this one bites. And then I tapped it with the hook and reached in to grab it and just
I did that with a Brettles python, my big female.
Yeah.
She grabbed me on a live.
food bite. She grabbed me, wrapped me up, and I just said, "Okay, she's coming with us." And then we went and looked at more snakes with her on my hand.
There you go.
But
Nice.
I ended up having to turn it off because it took hot water to get her off.
Nice.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
They when they're in that food mode, man. Whew,
I know. And that's the one that Roddy warned me was a demon the whole time, and it hasn't been until now. And I sent him a picture, and he's like, "I told you."
Yeah, he hit me up the other day and wanted to come on and talk blackheads on and do like video. He wanted to do a stream.
I loved when you guys did that with him a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I guess there's, I don't know if the interest in blackheads went up recently, but
I would say the interest in everything has gone up recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that seems fair. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot more attention on the cool stuff like that. So for sure.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking, even if you're into more mainstream project, you're looking for that one off the wall,
right?
Oddball.
Sure.
I had a really fun experience yesterday. I had a coworker over. All he works with is ball pythons and retics, dwarf retics. And so he came over and saw like all of these Australian pythons and stuff like that for the first time. And when I put a blackhead in his hands, one of my adult females, just the look in his eyes was so perfect. And he says, like, "I'm done with ball pythons." I'm trying to not trash talk them actively, but yeah, I know. It was really funny to see.
That's interesting.
When people see these things in person, the snake does the work. You don't have to convince anybody they're cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I agree.
Especially an adult,
Yeah, comes up and stares at you. It gets your attention.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we talked to Gary Shavino yesterday. That'll come out on Tuesday, and we were just talking about just that topic of the price of reptiles currently, and like how so easy to sell reptiles currently at the moment. And he was talking about Savu pythons, and they're like, what did he say they were? 1,500 a pair or something like that
for the normals or for silvers?
Silver. I think he does like 2 something for the silvers.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
they're hard to find. I mean,
not many people breed them.
No.
Yeah,
Ryan and him and
and then
maybe Nick.
Nick probably has a pair. I think Jeff and Kendra have some younger animals. I know
Brian Young probably breeds like 5 pairs a year, just doesn't have time to post about it.
Well, Mike has Macklots. Does he also do Savus? Does Scott Borden has Savus?
He does, yeah.
Does Salemi have Savus? He seems like a guy who'd like them.
I don't think so. No.
But yeah,
Salemi
probably
has Angolans. Yeah.
Yeah, probably fewer than a dozen people with pairs with the intent of breeding that we know of.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eric Kohler. Yep. Yeah, that sort of like circle and range of people is kind of where I'm thinking there's probably a dozen or so people there. But
yeah, Kohler is pretty into Liasis. He's a pretty big fan of them. I think he has. I know he and Owen were doing. Well, actually, no, he's got Duns and he's got Macklots, and I think he's got Roddy Ireland. Macklots.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's got a lot of good stuff. I briefly spoke with him when I was at a Carpet Fest at your house. He's a nice guy. I mean, I could say that about a lot of people. I wish I had more time to sit and talk to you out there, but
sit and talk. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, Carpet Fest. Oh man, yeah. Oh boy,
y'all never been to one.
Boom.
There you go.
This is the one that Eric is on the shirt.
Oh God.
Hey.
Yeah.
And he's wearing another Carpet Fest shirt in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the world of Carpet Fest.
Ryan McVeigh's into Savus. That's right. He's got at least a couple pairs.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him.
He loves that.
Yeah, there's
stuff.
always those. It's so weird, man. There's so many people that like I've been hearing lately that are like under the radar that you don't know about, that have like, you know, specific projects or things that you don't think that anybody's working with. And yeah, there's people working with them. You just don't know them. You know,
yeah, not everybody's on Instagram.
I think about that a lot. Like when it comes down to like, I wonder if I would ever stop working with species X. And then it usually comes down to like, there'd have to be some serious financial or space limitations because what I work with is what I like. But I'd always be worried about like, if I stop working with it and then other people stop, like what happens? Do they disappear? Like, what if I can never get them? And do I regret that? You know?
I think that was actually another point that, that Gary talked about, and basically saying, I can't remember what species it was, but he thought that same thing. Like, well, no, I think it was Boland's, because Gary used to do sort of I think he used to buy from the importers, clean the animals up, and then, you know, sell them off. And he was talking about how he had all these Boland's, you know, years back. And he wished that he had held on to it. But it's interesting. His thing is like, and everybody will hear this when NPR comes out, but it was like his thing for breeding, especially Savus, right? Because, you know, we got into it. Why are they trickier to breed, or, you know, and it's not about any of that, but they just have to get cold.
Yeah.
You just said cold, like cold, like 60 degrees. So he takes pretty much everything he has to 60 degrees. It's funny, right? We said that, right? And I said, yeah, man, you know, you're saying 60 degrees. And I know, like, when I first started breeding carpets, it was like you could take the carpet to 70, but if you took it below 70, it was like
spontaneous combustion.
It might be dicey. You know, if you're at 68.5, things can go left real quick. But yeah, I don't know, you know, to your point, 60 degrees is not cold, you know, so
I go about 15 degrees slower than that sometimes on accident, and everything's okay.
yeah, I guess I think the thing that I'm probably would worry about now with that, and eventually the monitors are going to move out of here and into my main room. In the new cage, because that's definitely warmer, and all that monitors and geckos and stuff some geckos will be in there, and some of the cooler stuff, like I'm thinking that inlands, Brettles, I'm thinking maybe, like, I don't know, some people have told me like get Womas colder and you'll have more success. What's your thought with that, Lucas?
I think that makes sense. I think no. I don't think that we can make any like blanket statements for Womas, because there's so many subpopulations in so many different regions with so many different climates. But the problem is all of our shit is a melting pot. So there's probably populations of Womas, like the central populations, red center, et cetera, that would do well being cycled just as low as things like Brettles. But then some of the other you know, population centers might be a lot more even keel, like Shark Bay stuff's not going to be going through the same climate regime. So I think that probably varies in actual like Australian specimen, but for the, you know, for the US melting pot, I'd say it's, you know, might as well.
I don't know how to phrase this question correctly, so maybe you can help me through it. But like, when you're saying that a population of the same species is in a different breeding regime because of the temperature that they're getting,
I'm guesstimating. But
no. Yeah. I get it. But like, do you think that I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. So is
Like,
it
how would that
kind of
play
like,
in terms of taxonomy?
like, well, no, not from taxonomy point of view, but like it are biologically, do they need the same thing, but they just are? I guess that wouldn't make sense.
So
Never mind. Scratch it.
I
I'll
mean,
have to
the
think
reason
about it.
I'm trying to think of it in that more nuanced way is
Right.
like, I've had to dig a little bit deeper in Loafman's conservation biology class with like haplotype networks and metapopulation dynamics. So same species, but in little different circles that may or may not import and export, emigrate with each other, right? So, I mean, when you end up doing like genetic analysis of those isolated or not isolated locales, a lot of the times they are slightly different, and that's how you get different haplotypes. So there might only be like a handful of differences genetically, not enough to say it's anything different taxonomically, but that can be enough of a difference to reflect some sort of a behavioral or, you know, adaptive change where you would see differences. Like, you know, if you catch an eastern indigo from the Florida panhandle and try and release it in Alabama, they don't tend to do well. They are different haplotypes, is my understanding, and they are adapted to where they are at. I just thinking about, you know, Australia is a big freaking place, and the womas in the red center are experiencing a lot more drastic variation in temperatures than like womas in Queensland or womas up north. Right? I mean, I would think it would be quite different.
I think so you're right. Yeah.
The question is, what happens when you mix them? Where did our womas come from in the first place? What has been mixed, and how much does it really freaking matter? But I guess my thought is, if they like to get cold, okay, good, get them cold. If they don't, it probably still doesn't hurt to get them cold. Like,
gotcha.
And, you know, I feel like it could only be a positive thing as long as you're giving them heat during the day. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's I guess where I was going with that is like, you know, when a species is difficult to breed, I never really thought about, like, I guess most of the species that I'm working with are from a specific spot, right? With specific temperatures to that area. But when you have, like, I guess it's kind of like carpet pythons, where you have the diamonds all the way down below. I mean, they are subspecies, I suppose, but they're different. So you probably couldn't take a Cape York and put it down in Sydney, and vice versa. But do you think that could be could affect breeding? So for instance, if you're struggling with getting your womas going, is it possible that some require cooler temperatures and some not so much, and you kind of have to fiddle with that? Like,
I guess that's kind of what I'm proposing, but I definitely have no anything to back it up. It just seems to make sense in my head.
Come on, man. This is carpets and coffee. We don't have anything to anything.
Yeah. That is my thought, baby. That's my theory, that the certain Woma pythons from populations that experience cold freaking temperatures might need a little bit more cold to cycle properly than the ones where it doesn't. Because they're not mixing to that degree. Like, you might have some womas going, you know, from the central population to the eastern population or whatever, but you're not going cross country. Like, that's not happening. So,
right. Well, I think I'm just thinking of as far as like whenever the first womas, you know, made their way into other breeders' hands,
right,
and they didn't know where it was, that could have made a huge difference in the success of breeding them.
It could. Or
right.
On the flip
or
side,
it doesn't matter.
I might be completely off base because we know that womas that live where it gets below freezing simply go in a hole and then it's not that cold anymore. So
right.
It could all totally be a wash.
I guess that's sort of where I was going with that, right? You have a species, they're from different environments. They've adapted different behaviors in that environment to still give them the same biological needs.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. And so that might even be the more probable scenario. But both seem
it took
possible.
us a while, but you got it out of me. Okay, very good.
But I mean, yes, I cooled mine and she still just laid all slugs. But it's Owen's fault. He broke it.
Yeah, he broke that Woma. He broke that Woma 5 years ago.
Yep. Boy's pretty big too. Classic.
I just wondered for like Owen's white lips. Maybe that could be a thought. And it's weird. You would think that olive pythons wouldn't have to get cold, but Owen didn't have success. And I know Nick has never really brought this up unless it's one of his trade secrets. But I don't think he gets them all too cold. But Owen got them cold, and then he had a clutch.
Right.
Which was just strange because you would think like in the Northern Territory, it's more stable and it's not really going to get cold, but he dropped them like, I think he dropped them like Bradley, so yeah, I don't know.
We know nothing.
By the way, albino citrus tiger. Whoa. Holy shit. Damn.
They're so nice.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
dude, you don't know how pumped. You don't know how pumped I was when I like pulled the tub open and I saw a little shed around the water bowl, and I'm like, yes. And I pull up the little paper and I'm like looking in and I'm like, oh my god, this is insanity.
Yeah, man. They're switched on, man. They're something else for sure.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, this year I'm gonna put the male citrus tiger het to the female and just do straight citrus tiger het pairing.
Okay.
So
yeah,
sweet.
I think they'll even be better. The caramel citrus tiger stuff turned out pretty nice. I have a female that was growing up that turned out pretty interesting.
That female you sent me is, I want to say she's like 3.5 years old now, something like that. 3 years old. Yeah, totally different color palette than the other citrus tigers. The yellow is different. It's more of like a canary, but it's different from a jungle yellow. It's those things are wicked.
I think next season I'm going to do another citrus tiger to citrus tiger, my original pair.
Yeah,
I'll have to send you some from that.
Yeah, I need something from that.
You need some straight citrus tiger in your life.
That is the truth.
Yeah,
that is the truth.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Have you ever had snakes that won't eat either black and white or black mice?
I've never had that problem, but at work, every day, so many people are like, I need a white rat with a black stripe down its back, and it has to be female or it won't be eaten. I'm like, what are you? I've never had that experience.
I haven't either until now. I've never had it, and I just went through and fed last week.
Mice racist snake?
I guess so. I don't know. There were so many of them left behind. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what? To me, I would think that they would smell the same, and it's a mouse.
I've got some customers that they like, can I get a rat as long as it's not an all white one? Because their snakes like won't eat the all white ones.
Right.
I got a few people like that. Yeah.
And every time I get one of those customers that has color preference like that, allegedly, it's ball pythons.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
I asked, like, what are you feeding?
I wonder.
Banana Blast, Super Cherry on top, ball python.
Banana berry split with cherry
Derpy
on top.
herbs.
The Derpy Herbs. Dr. Derpy Herb.
That was so good.
Man, that was great. I love that. Shout out to Chuck and Justin.
Chuck Poland.
Yeah.
We
my
just
hero.
got canceled.
That's okay.
No, the snake did. Ball python. Ball pythons
Yeah.
are canceled.
Canceled. Some BPs that yeah. I don't know. That's weird. I've never had that
really
before.
weird.
Never experienced that. I don't know what would have caused it. And I was just like, could this be a thing? Like
what snake is it?
it was what snake was it? There was a couple like younger jungle carpets, which I guess kind of makes sense, but sometimes they can be picky. And there was what was the other one? I think it was an IJ. It was a double het exantic granite.
I'm always curious because I mean, if you think about it, there aren't red-eyed white lab mice running around in the wild, so it is kind of unnatural. But after several generations in human care and being hatched in human care, you'd think they've never seen otherwise. So and I'm assuming it started out of nowhere too. So
yeah, this is weird. I don't know. It's weird observation that I saw.
Yeah, that is weird.
But
Very strange. Yeah. I don't know. I don't keep snakes that don't like to eat.
Typically, I don't either because I don't feed them all that much. So
Yeah.
it's usually like they don't,
They're like, oh my God, the first time in years.
I guess that's a good point that Richard brought up. Maybe the thermal signature of an all-white mouse might be different enough to spook them. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Who
that
knows?
would change the body temperature. Maybe if you were letting them out in the sun first, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, typically I do warm them up, with like warm water, but I don't think that would. It's not because it's a black mouse. It's not going to absorb more hot water like the heat from the water, right? Or am I wrong with that?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think the black being hotter is a light thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think. Oh my God, physics. Does black heat up in the water?
Zach is Dr. Loafman is going, what the hell?
No, he's in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
He
lucky him. I saw
he left and then he's coming back for finals week and then he's going back to Costa Rica. It doesn't make any sense. Just stay. Yeah. Don't give finals.
Yeah, right. They did a breeding episode. I don't know if you guys happen to listen to that yet, but sort of like their brumation episode, but they did a breeding episode. And when I started editing it, I was like, breeding episode? What is he doing a breeding episode now for? And I'm like, oh, colubrid.
Right.
That's funny. I got to listen to it because the Lake Chapalas he sent me are locking up like crazy.
Oh yeah. I saw that. That's pretty cool.
I sent him a picture because I really, they're from Zach, so I didn't badger him for details. But I was like, "How old are these? Are these old enough to be doing this?" And he was like, "No." So I don't know what's going on. It might just be recreational.
Yeah, Robert, to your point, I don't feed live. It's all frozen thaw. So, but Owen just got a clutch before we went live from his King Rats. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He must be very happy about that. He can
those
keep
things are right up Owen's alley. Big angry colubrids.
Dude, we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, man, you should just be a colubrid guy, man. You just knock them out left and right. I don't know what you're doing, wasting your time with pythons. Shut up, you. Oh,
yeah.
I do hope he gets those blue beauties sometime soon. I really like the beauty snakes.
Are they tricky to breed? Are they trickier to breed?
I have no idea, but he's been trying, hasn't he?
Not a lot of people have bred them. I don't know how tricky they are, but it's also availability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one Taiwanese beauty at work, but there's no. It's not a pair. It's just a one-off, and it's so pretty.
Yeah. I mean, if you try and look them up as far as their taxonomic classification, it's fairly recent and there's not a lot published on them too. So like they've only been around in herpetoculture for, maybe 14, 15 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my dad did this. He bred gerbils.
Gerbils. Responsible for the Black Plague, by the way. Rats get blamed, but it was the gerbils.
Yeah.
I hate rodents.
So do I, man.
Dude, a rat bit me the other day when I was cleaning. It took every ounce of me to not grab that thing and throw it against the wall as hard as I could. I was like, I fucking hate you.
I've never been bitten by a rat.
Oh,
hurts pretty
me
bad.
neither.
Man.
I get bit by mice all the time, never rats.
I had an adult female bite me on the knuckle, right through the knuckle, like you could have pierced it right after.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fed her off to the water monitor.
The way their teeth like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she lost that battle. I fed her off to our water monitor immediately after that.
Rudy or the other one?
Addie.
I
made sure it was painful and slow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
All right.
Anyway,
views, for all you PETA members, the views of Riley Jimison does not reflect MPR Network.
Sorry for everybody who likes
the
rats,
numbers just
snakes gotta eat.
But
But they're cute as babies.
Yeah.
I had pet rats as a kid. I had love for rats.
Not
for mice though.
I appreciate the pet ones. It's interesting. You talk to people, the ones that are bred for food behave completely different than ones that are bred for pets. Like
temperament it seems very heritable for them.
It is. Yeah. So, the pet lines of rodents are fine, but
super social. Like, pet rats
smart,
are fun. Very
doing
smart.
mazes and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Spend most of their time.
Run into the fridge and fetching you drinks. Go get me a beer, rat.
Really?
Come back with it.
You can't call people that.
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Now I want a capybara.
A capybara and an anaconda. You'll be
Those
all
are
right.
cool. And hot tub.
Get a wombat.
Ooh. Wombats are cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does your fiance do at the zoo? What is she in charge of? Mammals or
giraffes, right?
Yeah, so her section is mostly hoofstock, so it's
okay.
Giraffes. They've sent a few things out because they're doing some restructuring or reformation, and then in a few years they're actually relocating the zoo. But she does giraffes, ostriches. She oversees a little bit with okapi, kangaroo, cheetah, and then they just got into Galapagos tortoises that are being moved into her area because that's where they have the space. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I got
a good variety.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Okapi are cool as hell.
They are. They're interesting, man. They're weird.
They're so weird.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you ever miss it? Do you ever miss being at the zoo?
I don't know. I mean, I deliver their weekly bugs usually. So I get to go see like old coworkers, and that's fun. And I still get invited to, like social outings with some of them and whatnot. But I don't know, man. As far as the actual physical work goes, like thinking about it, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Not because it's like that I don't like it, but I did the actual physical labor part of it for so long that like my back and my body just can't do it for that much longer. And like, unless I could transition into a partial, like, supervisor working desk job and do it in spurts, like I don't think I can hang. It just beats you up,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's not easy, and you don't get compensated heavily for your efforts.
No, I mean, if you make it to manager, you do all right. Like if you get to a supervisor position, even in smaller zoos, you'll do all right. But those positions are few and far in between, and it's hard to get there because the people that are there generally want to stay there, and it's
right. They made it.
They want to retire, and you can't blame them. And zoos are limited on budget, space, resources, and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But if you're in the right place, right time, you can absolutely do 30 years in a zoo setting and live well and retire if it's the right path. So
Not at the NPR zoo.
No
work till
retirement.
you die.
We'll pay you good, but you got to stay for life.
For life.
The beatings will continue.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
Yep, exactly.
I guess
Mandatory
that sucks, right?
bites.
Because if you become manager of that, you're now probably not working with the animals as much as you're now working with the people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think every facility is different. If it's a bigger facility, the details, you probably do more office type work and less with the animals, but you probably do participate and oversee things like medical procedures or transfers or breeding and things like that. So you might oversee some of the more important things, but you do have to deal more with people and scheduling and making sure like all the things are ordered and the teams are communicating with one another and everybody has materials and again, depending on the size of the facility, sometimes you're also doing the time card stuff and making sure that's squared away, and then there's meetings and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it never ends. So
Right.
Yep.
Desert Creature says, taking care of animals that aren't your own is sometimes like taking care of kids that aren't yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best part is you get to go home at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like there's always that. You get to, at the end of the day, it's finite at some point. Even if you love the animals.
Yeah. And apparently in the chat, everybody's been bitten by bearded dragons that have done some damage.
Bearded dragons are capable of damage. They just tend not to.
I've never been bit by a bearded dragon.
I haven't either, but when I was at the vivarium the first time around in 2019, one of the coworkers that had been there forever got the top of his thumb bit off, like through the nail. And I was very impressed. Very impressed.
That's cool.
Holy shit.
They got the jaw strength is no joke, but they're just always so derpy. They never bite.
Yeah, they're so inbred now at this point.
Yeah, derpy herps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, Robert.
Robert, why you gotta put us all to shame with that?
Where's Bratz? Let's get Bratz over here.
Yeah.
Hit him with the Aatrox.
Aatrox, right.
Yeah.
I've heard that copperheads were not as I shouldn't say not as fatal, I guess, as
less likely to be fatal. I think everybody's biology is different, but yeah, they are always purported to be like the beginner, like not as deadly ones, but that seems to also bite people in the ass sometimes. Hey, my Woma's digging.
Nice. That's my favorite.
She does it regularly. I love seeing that. I just put her in the new enclosure and there's all this new bedding. So she's sitting there like scooping this whole corner out. It's super cool to see.
That's awesome. Were you going to say what your worst bite was, Lucas? I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Oh, yeah. My worst bite was that blackhead today.
Oh, really?
That's it? Damn.
Yeah, I don't get bit very much.
Good for you.
I think my worst bite was probably from a Burmese python, a big 18-foot Burmese python. That was not fun.
That's not good.
No, that was not fun.
That could really take your breath away.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I remember too, the first time I went over to Matt Minatola's spot, he had at the time he had this really big retic. I mean, she was probably maybe 12 to 16 feet, something like that, big snake. So, we're looking through his stuff, and obviously I don't even know why I didn't have any like desire to hold her, but he's like, yeah, let me take her out. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And then like we take her out and he's getting her out, and she's kind of like wrapped around. I can't remember if it was my leg or his leg, but like her tail was kind of wrapped around one of her legs, and she just slowly like came around, and she was just about to nail me. And Matt's like, whoa. He's like pulling her back, and it was like so slow motion. It was like, It's crazy. It's
My
like
coworker
right when their
almost-
mouth was about to open, But,
Yeah, when that happens, it does kind of go in slow motion a little bit.
yeah.
My on Tuesday, my coworker like just narrowly missed adult blood python shot to the no square in basketball shorts. He had holes in the shorts, like 2 inches south of the family
Yowzers.
jewels.
The Yowzer trousers. Oh no.
That was nuts. It was
Literally. Whoa.
That.
Huge blood python.
Wow.
Huge blood python. Yeah.
Dude, those things, they punch.
They're like they're so different.
Yeah.
I remember we were doing a photo shoot. I was taking some pictures for Matt, and just the way that they like twitch their eyes and shit right before they're gonna strike. Whereas like with an arboreal type of snake, or most of the pythons that I work with, it's pretty. You can I don't know how to explain it, but there's when it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But with them, it's just like, and it's like they're a spring. They just like it's
and they don't really have to charge up very much. They can just
it's so freaking quick. I've gotten the ones at the shop to like mellow out a little bit over the years.
Nice.
And like
I can the shit out of me.
I can handle even that really big boutique and move her around and shed, and like just as long as I'm pretty supportive and deliberate. But I got grabbed the other day, like a quick hit, and like I almost didn't realize what had happened because I was like, what the hell? And then like later I was like, felt something warm, and there was blood running down my arm because the T positive goldeneye female just, man, I was like, hey, what's your problem today? I was like, what the hell?
You still got those over in the corner with like 10 inches to work with too.
16 inches.
I hate trying to change those waters. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, now I do it every week.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. No, they're not so bad.
As you guys being mostly, I would say mostly like arboreal type snakes, structured snakes, blackheads maybe, and Womas kinda maybe similar. Not really, but similar. Whereas like short tails are completely different. Well, yeah, short tails are completely different than that. Do you ever see yourself wanting to work with a short tail? Or
I think I'd breed ball pythons before wanting a blood.
Really?
Yeah.
Just I think it must be the for me it's the body shape, right? Because
like
it's so alien from what I'm used to.
I like active snakes that do things.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. If you've seen some of Matt's animals, you might change your mind.
I fully admit they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I tried them, man. They didn't work for me.
I understand them. I get them. Yeah. Like, I appreciate them. I think they're cool. I don't know. I think about that every once in a while, especially every season we're hatching out babies. Like, I've got access to like golden eyes, pixels, all these crazy bloods, and just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, I want to be excited about an animal, and if I'm already like me,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then like if your goal is to breed, I'll tell you right now, those things they're just like one here, one there goes, like very slow moving. That market is so weird. I don't get it.
Yeah. I think I think it makes it difficult, right? For the I think of the Borneos and the crazy genetics that are involved, it's probably polygenic or something along those lines, but still, I guess it's, how do you sell like a morph type project when, what are they, chondro people? I mean, come on.
Yeah. yeah. It's hard. It's a confusing thing to explain.
Yeah. I guess the reds and the bloods are probably easier because the genetics are more straightforward, So.
Yeah, that's incomplete dominant and recessive all day. So but no, it's interesting. I don't know. I think if you're set up for working with like that climate liking group of species, they do really well. Lower hotspot, higher humidity, less fluctuation of things. I don't think they're that difficult.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't even like regularly take my animals out all the time. It's not like I want something to go play with. So it's not that they're so sedentary. I don't mind that. I don't know.
What about okay, so if you could, is there a species of boa that you would want to work with?
Yes.
Riley. Yeah, go
Oh shit.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Lucas.
Lucas, you go for it because mine's not going to be a quick answer.
I mean, I would definitely do Sanzinia. I'm taking care of the group we have at the vivarium right now, and they're really freaking cool.
Yeah.
She's just on another planet. Like they look like nothing else, and I really enjoy their personalities. One of the little ones bites the
greens
crap
or the
out of me,
mandarins?
they're mandarins.
Mandarins.
I would do Sanzinia. I like Dumerals, but it wouldn't be the top of my list. And I love rubber boas. I'd do that just for the cool novelty of having something that I could find 10 minutes up the road. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Plus, I haven't ever found one, so I might have to get one to see one. So the wild ones outsmart me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Justin mentioned one of those holy grail boas, the ground boa right there, Acrantophus madagascariensis, that you just don't ever see. That would definitely be up there.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for those beautiful locality red tails, like all the Pucallpa, Guyana, Peruvian, Amarali, like all that stuff. But I mean, Argentines are badass too. I mean, Travis Johnson, every time I'd go to his house, I'd hang out with his Argentines, and those things are just insane. And then we've got some of the Max Pink ones at the shop that are growing into pretty spectacular animals.
No Amazon basins?
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To be completely honest, I haven't had too much opportunity to interact with them, so maybe that would change my opinion on them in time. But I don't know. I think I would want to really delve into something obscure that either has like a lot to still be worked out, or like maybe the nebulosas, the cloud boas. Dan Maleri put out a video not too long ago showing the top 10 like rarest reptiles he's either kept or had come through his hands, and he put up a photo of those cloud boas from like the 90s. I mean, that thing was crazy. The saddles were huge. They were like black. The animal had this like smoky charcoal ash wash to it, but the spear head and just the bread loaf body, but it was just different. I don't know, man. Those things are pretty unique.
Robert says, no more boa talk, back to carbons.
Yeah, I don't know. I could go down. Yeah, I could really go down like the rabbit hole. Puerto Rican boas, Jamaican boas, Cuban boas.
I would get, dude. Okay. Jamaicans are
that's Jamaicans. What Rob Stone posts a lot, right?
Yeah, those are they're like the equivalent of like a Bredli. They start orange and they go to black.
Yeah.
They're just
I don't know enough about them to want them, but when I see the pictures, I'm like, damn.
I saw those animals in person.
Yeah, those things are nuts.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable the colors.
Musky, feisty babies, but man, they're cool.
I think they're even that way as adults, but
a little bit.
I don't really handle my snakes all that much, so who knows? I don't know.
Is that the only one on your list, Eric?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Hog Island boas.
No.
A lot of those dwarf boas.
I think the next thing on my list would probably be, I would love to grab an inland because we just saw that Justin produced Clutch.
we got a Clutch.
Boas.
Justin, I want on the list.
But yes, I was going to bring that up too.
I need.
Justin got some inlands.
Good.
Eggs
Okay.
look good.
Were you saying what boas would I like?
Yeah,
just the Jamaicans.
To answer your own question.
I mean,
okay, yeah.
I like all the types of boas, but to me, Jamaicans, that's the one that I would jump into.
Okay,
but
got it. Back to carpets. You got AAR. I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to get their hands on those. So
Justin.
That's what it pays to herp with Justin all the time and have him on the podcast network. No, I'm just kidding.
Time to pay your network dues.
Actually,
no.
Justin has another carpet that I am much more interested in than that.
Interesting.
Me too. I take some. Yes.
I don't know what y'all are talking about, but he has Western blackhead babies cooking from Casey Lazick stuff. So that's what I need to call the good doctor for.
Nice.
Look in the private chat.
Huh?
All I'm saying is my fiance said I can't put snakes on the wedding registry. That doesn't mean you can't send me snakes as a wedding gift. I just don't have to put it on a list for her to see. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Same goes for
Owen. If I give you a whole bunch of snakes for your wedding, then your then wife is going to be like, "Wow, that Eric is pretty cheap, man. He didn't even get us a gift." And you're like, "Yeah, I know, man.
he
didn't get us a gift at all."
Yeah, he just, he's a busy guy, and I'll you know what? I'll make something. I'll go buy a gift and say it's from you.
Yeah, there you go. All right,
there we go. Well, I'll do an anonymous purchase off of the registry, and then she'll be like, "That must have been him." I'll be like, "That must be process of elimination."
On it.
Yeah, anonymous.
Him and his wife. He didn't want you to know that this is what he got you.
Did you, Eric, when you guys had Gary on, did you talk to him about diamonds?
I did. Yes,
because I saw that he just acquired Brett Bender's diamonds from Greg Himes' stuff.
Brett,
he posted about that today. That's what I wanted. That's what I was gonna say. What the hell is Brett doing?
Brett.
I don't know.
He gets southern white lips and gets rid of diamonds. What's wrong with
how dare you, sir?
And he gets the bumpy ball pythons and gets rid of diamonds.
But good for Gary.
God,
gorgeous animals.
Yeah.
Brett
just went down a notch in my book.
Brett, we will have an intervention.
Yeah.
Stay safe, my friend.
If you're listening to this and you have more diamonds you tried to get rid of, text me.
I was gonna say we're gonna get. Never mind.
Okay, but yeah, I'm excited to see more of those.
Yeah, we did talk about diamonds. He did talk about the what is it, the Gothenburg Zoo line.
Right.
He was saying that I think he said he talked to Josh Easter, and Josh Easter said it was bullshit. Yeah, right.
Said it was bullshit.
So, yeah, because there is
the locality
Gothenburg Zoo, or that doesn't exist.
So there's not even a zoo.
No.
That's not where I thought you were going. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what he said, and it's weird. We did talk about how the diamond python world seems to be the most, I mean this in the most loving way, fanatical about lineage, purity, whereas like jungle carpets don't seem to be as much. Like they've accepted that there might be other things floating around in them.
Totally.
So yeah. Selling those diamonds.
I haven't.
There's a children's zoo in Gothenburg, Sweden.
I don't know.
With goats and things.
I thought that they were pretty. I don't know, man. I thought that was pretty legit. I don't know.
Yeah, I've only heard other people tell me about the diamond python community. I've obviously have never participated, but I've heard that it's a pretty unique culture.
There's a zoo 50 kilometers east of Gothenburg.
Maybe it's that.
Call them.
Did you have any
diamonds
diamonds for sale?
We'll do it live on air.
Have you ever had spilota? Spilota?
And can I have some, please?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know, man. The diamond world is just a different, and it's funny when you have somebody like Nick, who's on that same level that says that those guys are intense. It's kind of like, what?
Look in the mirror, mutton.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Cue Michael Jackson, man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
That's
man?
a good point. Yeah. I don't know. One day.
I know that the Cypress Creek ones came up. I find that one particularly interesting because there's a group of people, Nick being one of them, that believe that they are pure. And then there's a group of people that say that's bullshit. And they fight with each other all the time on the internet. And here we are.
Classic. I bet that always ends very well.
No.
I'm
They
assuming
all sing Kumbaya together and love their
I'm
snakes
assuming
in peace.
whatever people or documents were involved in the importation of those animals are no longer accessible.
I think it's one of those things where, and see, again, this is why I don't understand why we pick and choose which ones we think are good and which ones we don't think are good. And it really comes down to whoever has them and whether or not we like that person at the time. And then if we do, then, we accept it as pure. If we don't, then we don't,
Gotcha.
It's just one of those things. It really comes down to the one guy, and he says that he got them and that, they were pure and and then you have other people that are saying no, they're mixes and crosses and you don't know where they came from and and this guy's more or less saying that, like, he pretty much took them out of Australia himself, but
Yeah,
I don't know,
Right.
exactly.
Sure.
Politics.
Yeah, I feel like there's always questions that somewhere in the line that cannot perfectly be answered, even if the person is still alive that knows the answer.
So here was another interesting thing, and I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on this, right? So I was watching, we're landscaping our outback, and my wife is buying all these different plants. So she was looking them up on YouTube. She's like, can you show me a video about whatever? I don't even remember what species they were, but the guy was talking about them, and they're all hybrids. So like, they're like sort of, breeding these different plants to sort of, you want the, insect repelling of this, or this one attracts a certain type of bee, hummingbirds. It stays a smaller shrub as opposed to what you would find in, if you saw it in the wild in nature, it'd be a bigger bush or whatever. And they've just embraced that they're, just Frankensteining the shit out of these plants. And then I thought about it, and it was like, they do the same with dogs. So what is it that, like, what is it about snakes that we don't do that? Like, why are we so specific? Like, why is that such a hang up with snake keepers?
Are some of those plants considered rare?
Some of them are, yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of certain
I think
certain factors we place value on as a hobby, aside just from like whatever somebody says it costs, like, rarity, uniqueness, if it's flashy in how it looks, if it can live a long time. I don't know. I don't know.
I seem to think that Oh, go ahead, Lucas. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think plants are just a different case altogether, because like human history is fucking with plants. That is why we are here wearing clothes, staring at a light screen in a city, because somebody's like, point. If I move this plant over here, put it in dirt, I have more food. So like that, people have been hybridizing and cultivating and selective breeding plants to be whatever they need it to be for a very, very long time. And then with dogs,
that was the other one.
They're domesticated. Like, you don't have somebody that's like, I have a Icelandic locale wild dog F1. Like, you know, we're not trying to have something that represents a wild animal anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think that's the difference.
So one of the things that Gary brought up that I thought was an interesting point is like, especially for like, so I think he's like 54 and I'm 48. So we're like sort of from that same time frame of, growing up in the world. And he was sort of saying like, when we looked at books when we were younger, there was no internet, there was none of that stuff. So our information about reptiles was basically taken from books. And when you're reading those books, everything is presented as a species, because even back then you didn't really have morphs and there was no desire to cross anything. Now, granted, maybe the taxonomy wasn't correct, but that's sort of how you looked at it. So maybe it's been burned into our brains of those old school herpers of, this is the way it should be, rather than just breed whatever you can breed type of deal. But I don't know. I thought that was, it was just, it was interesting,
It's definitely interesting.
So, yeah.
I think like usual, it just kind of comes down to what you're drawn to. What draws you to have a home full of snakes in a box? Like,
right.
Is it the pretty colors, or is it that you want nature
behaviors?
In your home?
Is it exactly?
You want to know that what you are looking at is representative of a specific animal from a specific place. That it's really there right now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Let me ask this would be interesting to hear what your guys' thoughts are, because you're young. So like with us, right, there's specific species that stick out to me from reading specific books, right? There was this book, TFH book, that was called Pythons and Boas. And I think that's where I fell in love with Burmese pythons. It's where I fell in love with diamond pythons, green tree pythons. So what is the thing that when you guys were coming into herpetoculture, was it a website? Was it a forum? Was it a Facebook put? Like, what is that animal that when you saw it, you were like, oh shit, what is that? And like really to this day has sort of burned into your brain that that's an animal that you want to work with one day.
I remember vividly, because it wasn't that long ago. I didn't have snakes till sophomore year of college.
Screw you, Lucas.
And for me, it was a Google image search of Woma pythons. And this picture of somebody holding a super high contrast Woma in their hand. I have the picture still, and I saved it on my phone as like a, well, that is what I want. So that's what got me. And then YouTube videos, the complete carpet book. Brettles jumped out at me out of everything in that book, just looking at the pretty pictures. But yeah,
gotcha. Okay,
Google. How about you, Riley?
Google. Yeah.
I mean, I know it. Like my first snake I got before I really knew about the whole culture of everything, right? So I would say I've been keeping reptiles before I knew about herpetoculture, and then I found out about herpetoculture in probably 2011, 2012, towards the end of college, when I was starting to work at the zoo, and that's when I found out about the Southern California show scene and things like that, and that's when I started having my mind blown on the daily. But I would say the first like profound moment of when I saw an animal that like the image is etched into my brain is the first time I saw a big adult female jungle carpet staring at me from the back of a boaphile cage, ready to like absolutely light me up if I made a mistake. And it was my first time seeing something like that, and I was like, oh, look at that head. Oh, look at that black. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. This thing wants to kill me.
Right.
I need these. I need these right here. Yeah, I was like, yeah. At that point, I was like, definitely getting jungles. And then I think that was the year I bought my first jungle carpet. That female that passed on me was that animal. So yeah.
I wonder if you'll have the same experience when you get to my age, where you'll look back and you'll be romanticizing that, infancy of you into herpetoculture, like that there's specific, I hope you guys have it, but there's like specific animals. I think for me, right, we were talking about this too, when it comes to Australia for me. And I think because back into reptiles from when I kind of left it for a while, Steve Irwin was he was on fire at that point, and I was just like, wow, look at all these freaking cool animals that live on this planet. They're just so different than anything else in the world. And I guess just how infectious he was. Yeah, I know there's issues with him and the free handling and all the, on all that stuff. And I know, blah blah blah.
Different era doesn't apply.
Issues to me.
Different era does not apply.
Yeah,
he gets a free pass.
Yeah, but I think that really, in the second, I can't fucking talk to them.
Iteration.
God damn it. Iteration. I don't know why I want to say iteration.
Iteration? You're gonna make a iteration? Oh god.
That Australia had such a impact on me. So
yeah, it's interesting. I like to sit back and kind of look at what everyone's doing and kind of think of their current status with their animals and how it relates to whatever stage they're at in their keeping. Right. Like we all kind of go through stages and waves. There's the initial excitement and honeymoon phase that tends to lead us into the Noah's Ark phase, which then tends to lead us into more of a focused exploratory phase, which can sometimes repeat itself a few times until you find your focus. And if you're still around at that point, then you either go one of two routes where you're hyper-focused forever, or you're hyper-focused until you burn out on that. And then you need some more waves of focus and lack of, and focus and lack of. But I think everybody that sticks around long enough, at some point, once they're tired of whatever they're trying to accomplish, or they've accomplished whatever their goals were for the breeding or exploring new species or whatever it is, when they're ready to just, do the enjoyment, personal enjoyment angle of it all, I think that's when you start seeing the stage of like going back to appreciating the roots and the foundation and, where your heart's really at, which is kind of where you're at essentially, right? Like the natural animals for what they are and the experience of having them, not so much packing all the genes in and literally checking all the boxes or whatever. It's less about breeding everything and more about appreciating the few things that are, special.
Yeah. I think you're. Yeah, it's just I don't know. And I guess it just hit a chord with me because he was talking about as you get older in herpetoculture, I'm not going to give it all away, but it was just an interesting conversation. It really kind of like made me think like, oh, okay, there's somebody else that's kind of going through the same type of thing. Like there was just a comment that he made, like, maybe I have like 10 more breeding seasons left, and you think about that and it's like 10, like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really good point. Like how long do you realistically think you're going to have the energy to go through constantly getting rodents and constantly pairing and cleaning animals and constantly maintaining and spending money and constantly going through the breeding cycles of incubating and getting babies started and then the selling and rinse and repeat, like how long. And the answer is different for everybody for a multitude of reasons, right? And there's no like right or wrong or good or bad, because everybody's path is whatever it is, right? And there's no shame in like leaving it, because you can always come back. Or if you want to leave it and be done with it and it's a chapter you close on your life and you've accomplished stuff or whatever, as long as you're okay with your decision at the end of the day. I mean, it's very realistic. Eventually you're going to get tired of cleaning snake crap, right? Eventually you're going to want to wake up and not have to go down and check, hundreds of animals. You'd rather go enjoy a handful or something like that. And that's, that's where some people sign off, and that's nothing. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's where my dad's at, right? I think he's always going to have this desire to care for something, right? Whether it's plants. I know he has, it's crazy to me, but he has like this amazing garden where he grows all his, their own vegetables and fruit. And, he's got everything from grapes to corn to lettuce to, tomatoes to blueberries to strawberries, cantaloupe, you name it. He's doing this in this backyard and like cantaloupe. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard to do melons.
He does honeydew too. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. See, the nice thing about that is, even though they're not breeding and, somebody isn't breeding or on the forefront of the industry, there's still so much they have to offer and, so much people can learn from, like your dad.
I look at
literally to me, the biggest lesson your dad exemplifies is just slow down, just stop and smell the coffee, like literally sit and watch and just figure it out and just do it and trust what you're seeing and, just roll with it and you'll figure it out. And his success is an absolute testament to that. And then on top of that, the underlying lesson amongst all of it is that he's not going on social media and showing off his work or publicizing it, even for the best reasons. He's not doing it.
Sure.
It's simply because he enjoys the shit out of it. And like, is there anything more pure than that? Is like, can you argue against that in any way? No, that's literally what we should all be striving for, is to have that level of enjoyment.
I'm very jealous of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I'm very jealous of that, just ability to just be like, I don't really care what, this is mine. This is my personal world and I don't care what people think or say, or, I don't, you've bred it 10 times and you're telling me this is wrong. I don't, it doesn't even exist in his world. Right. Because he's not going on Facebook or anything like that. So, and I don't know.
I think that's where the hobby has that innate love for the naturalistic and the creating of vivariums, because it kind of comes from that pure nature and that essence.
I
think it's
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say I've been growing plants on my balcony, and I have my first little blueberries.
Nice.
Eating. Speaking of gardens, so I like gardening too.
That's good.
It's quite relaxing, man.
I just really sat out there today and just was picking all the dead leaves off of the tomato plants to try and make it focus on the fruits.
I think there must be something like deep in our DNA somewhere that makes us like enjoying, like deep down in the
I have
DNA.
space to grow cactus, and I give that to the tortoises. So
okay, that's cool.
Dude, I thought like my cactus, I stuck a pad in the dirt years ago, and it's done all this cattywampus Frankenstein shit. And we had some crazy rain a few weeks ago, and the wind came with it, and it toppled this thing halfway over, and it was just starting to bloom. And I was like, oh no. And I like tried to pick it up and the thing just snapped in half from all the weight. So I literally just stuck it right in the dirt and the flowers were just like, okay. And they just kept going. I'm like, you can't freaking kill this thing. Not even I can ruin this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's oddly satisfying. And then I get why people are into gardening. Like that's, and especially when there's a way you can apply it to your animals, like hell yeah. Say no more. It's
odd. It's weird for me, right? Because I'm in the middle. Like I see you guys and you're sort of in the, younger part of your herp career, right? And I see my dad and he's in the twilight of his herp career. And I'm sort of like in the middle here and I'm like, well, that looks pretty cool, but that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just a strange thing. But
so what you need is a reptarian or a serpentarian of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can do both. Yeah.
$6.99 for an ounce of blueberries?
Good Lord.
6 ounces. Sorry, for 6 ounces.
Oh, but still.
I was gonna say,
it's too expensive.
You better be cutting that stuff, diluting it, and selling it on the street for more.
Tiny clamshells of blueberries, and they're from like freaking Chile. They're not even what you want.
Yeah.
So I did broccoli as well, but it was killed by aphids, and I'm going to rip that out and get another blueberry. I just want a small forest of blueberries.
Those Taurus mites will eat aphids.
Too late.
Oh, I want to talk about those.
Yeah, let's talk about mites.
I showed my boss about those. I showed my boss those, and he was like, "No freaking way!" I was like, "Yeah, check it out. You can buy them right here."
So I was talking to Riley about this last week before we went on the show, but I'll talk about it. Right. So there was from the last Carpet Fest. So what was that? 2019, maybe. 2019 was the last one. 2020. Yeah, 2019 maybe. Okay. Maybe. So what seems to happen at every Carpet Fest and why I am so crazy this year specifically about, having Carpet Fest at my house. It's not because I don't want people in, but it just seems that every time I tell people not to bring snakes, they bring snakes. I tell people, if you're coming from Hamburg, you're not going in my snake room. They go in my snake room. And I don't think they're doing it to be rude or ignorant or assholes or anything like that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe they don't listen to the podcast, so they don't know, so I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. But the issue is that after Carpet Fest, somehow I get this influx of mites. And if anybody knows, when you have a huge collection and you have mites, it is an absolute nightmare. And I would get rid of them and then they would come back, and I would get rid of them and they would come back, and I would get rid of them and they would come back. And it just seemed like every year I'm battling the same thing. And I can't, it almost takes you to the point where you don't want to, like, you just like, I'm turning in the towel. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So I've been clean for I guess it's been 9 months, maybe 10 months, something like that. So it's been a long time, right? But I'm just so nervous now that it goes into the spring. That is like, as all of a sudden I'm going to see something. So I heard Nipper talking about it on the Venom Exchange radio with Phil, and he was talking about these Taurus mites. And I've heard about it before and whatnot. And I was like, let me just make this a precaution, because I think I've used Frontline, I've used Prevenamite, but I think that Frontline has definitely killed some of my snakes. 100%. I think that they, for whatever reason, I can't,
I mean, it can't be good for them. It's a chemical
weeks,
that you want to kill things.
Right. Exactly. And then they would be dead. And you're like, okay, well, I've seen, I've had an animal that was fine, and then it went neuro. So that wasn't good. So I'm just like, there's got to be a better way to do that. Well, the better way is to prevent it, right? So that you don't get it at all. So anyway, I listened to Nipper. He said it's a game changer. I went online. I researched it. He actually bought it on Amazon. And I got 2 of these jars. They're like this big. You have to use it 24 hours from when it comes. And it comes in like this dirt. And you just basically take this scoop of dirt and you throw it in the enclosure. That's it.
Yep. And so in the dirt, there's mites that eat mites.
Yep.
Correct. Yes.
And so the idea is that they will stay in the tub that you put them in or the cage and hunt out all the mites.
If there's nothing for them to feed on, they die.
They die.
That's wild.
So
can they bite people?
No, they don't. No. You're not their prey. So there's this gentleman locally who's an entomologist, and he's a customer of mine, and he comes in and I talk weird bug stuff with him all the time. And it was right after the Taurus mite discussion. And I was like, have you ever heard of these? He's like, oh, yeah, I keep colonies of these at the office all the time, year round. I can keep them alive for a few months at a time, and then I'll get more and start over. And he's like talking about all the different scientific names of the different groups. He's like, but yeah, the Hypolopsis or whatever the hell it is. I was like, oh, yeah, that's the one I was just reading. I just like saw the name of it. And he's like, yeah, I can keep them alive for a few months. You just, mist them down, keep them humid, keep them in some soil, and they'll eat mites, aphids, fleas, things like that, just little insects. And I was like, what? You mean you know about this stuff?
Yeah.
And I tell my boss about it, and he's like, mind blown. And I'm thinking of all the applications, and the top 2 applications I'm thinking of are people who keep venomous collections and people who do bioactive. Because then if you have a mite outbreak, you don't have to put your hands on a venomous snake, nor do you have to rip up a beautiful bioactive enclosure.
And schmurder all your isopods.
Yeah, so Taurus mites.
That
just
is
go on Amazon.
Interesting thing. I might do that just for fun. I don't have mites right now, but there's a lot of springtails.
Well, they're not cheap. It's like $25-$30 for like, a small bottle or whatever. And depending on how many animals are
enclosed. Like a bottle
it's like a
bottle like this big.
So, that one's like 30 something bucks.
Right. Yeah. So,
okay.
It took, so my collection, think about, I guess my space is, I have this room here, and the other room is like a half of a garage, 2-car garage, basically a little bit bigger, I guess, than a 2-car garage. And so think about the enclosures that would be in there, the racks and stuff. And it basically did my entire room. And I just used like a coffee scooper. I scooped it out, put it in, scooped it out, put it in, scooped it out, put it in. It's, I felt,
and now a bunch of tiny wars are being raged on top of this.
So I looked at some of the, I researched it a bit, and I think the thing that like some people were thinking is like, say you had a rack where you had a stack of cages that you could put one scoop into the one cage and they'll move up, but it's like you have to put it into each enclosure because they don't move out of the enclosure. I guess they possibly could, but for the most part, they're staying in that spot. So
interesting.
You should cover the floor at Hamburg like delis.
It's not a bad idea.
That's funny. Honestly, I've always thought about like what I would do if I do ever vend a show strictly for my own stuff, because I vended shows with, other people in shops and whatnot, but, the mite treatment and prevention and stuff. And you got to be sensitive to the folks that have like tarantulas and invertebrates and stuff there. You don't want to be spraying pesticides all over and killing these people's feeders or animals or whatever. But I thought about like, how cool would it be to just get those no pest strips, cut them, and then like feed a chain through them and just wear them around like a chain at a show the whole time. Just have like a little yellow medallion that's just kind of like, stay away from me, like garlic at a vampire convention or something.
All of a sudden, Riley said it's gonna be
so funny story. Funny story about that. So we did a big mite treatment because we had an outbreak with some new incoming snakes at the shop last year, and did a full like going to strip and clean every enclosure, going to do a diluted mite treatment solution bath on every snake, prevenamite, air out, scrub, clean, whole nine. Did 150 something bins in this back room. Had the roll-up door open, fan on, doors open, cross breeze all day, right? About 6 hours or so of doing that. And for 2 days, I felt like there was this weight in the back of my head. And if I was just standing there, I was just kind of like falling backwards and then like,
oh shit,
to the side and kind of like, oh shit. I like jagged myself out for a few days.
Wow.
Like, no joke, dude. Yeah,
you became a derpy herb.
I became a derpy herb. Too much prevenamite. We've all seen the documentary of what happened to Steve-O. He was all high on drugs and stuff, huffing. I was a few steps below that.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, it was crazy.
Wow.
It was really freaking me out for a couple of days. Like, I'd just be sitting there and I'd have this like what the hell is going on? Yeah, dude, not good. Not good.
Do not breathe vapors.
And I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about it, but
warning.
Hazards
to humans and animals. Caution.
Made for death. That podcast, Boa Rack Radio, they haven't done a show in a couple of years, but they had a guest on, this woman by the name of DM. And if you want to hear how gnarly some of the chemical treatments are on your body, go listen to that episode, because fortunately her mom was like some sort of nurse and like picked up on the symptoms and things like the nausea and the neurological things and the bleeding and whatnot. Basically, she had pesticide poisoning from all those pest strips, like prolonged exposure to those pest strips over like a year or so. And had to be admitted to the hospital like for a couple weeks, like really bad organ issues, the whole nine.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so that stuff scares me, but it's effective, so
if it's one of those words that ends in side, CIDE, it's
yeah,
bad for you. You don't want that.
Hey Eric, do you see Lucas becoming like a little mini Nick Mutton in time? Without like the pathway of like chef to full-time breeder, brilliant reptile guy. But
I keep doing my impression.
Well, yeah, every time you do that, I'm like, yeah, I feel like there's each week that passes, there's a little more Nick coming out, and
I don't think I like that.
I'm not concerned about it. I think it's a great trajectory. You could do wonderful things. I'm just saying. I see him rubbing off on you, and you guys already have the Star Wars bond, now the Aussie Hurt bond, and now talking about doing a podcast. You guys might like what's that sensate when you like they morph into one?
Our cycle.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Yeah.
No.
Well,
I see Lucas.
I still let you talk when we're on the phone, right?
Yes.
There's a reason I don't call you.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I see Lucas as a mix of his two biggest influences, and it's a perfect balance. No.
Kiss that. Hey, you got a little something brown right here, buddy.
Nick and Zach, right? And like it's like this balance and match. And you can see it in his collection and whatnot.
Fair. Yeah. That's a good point.
I acknowledge
all the good things of
but
both,
I would argue that it's Zach and you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel for you, man. No wonder.
Look at my collection.
Yeah.
If I can
maybe it's
water
a trifecta. Maybe it's a trifecta with the guitar playing and everything.
That's
Yeah, we are.
It's like
we
a
are
three blend. You're a
guitar.
You're like a tri-blend t-shirt. Look at you.
Well, I would.
Those are the softest, by the way.
I say
I'm very
time,
fortunate
like,
if I ever get close to any of you three. So thank you.
I see. I'm pretty good, I think, at like judging people. I guess my job is maybe that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's funny. I don't know who I was talking to about this, I've been on a podcast every day this week, so I can't.
You were talking to Owen,
maybe I don't know, but I was saying about how I said I saw Lucas on his YouTube channel, and I don't like every once in a while I'll randomly put carpet python in to see what comes up on YouTube, right? Because I still feel
years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than you, Riley, there's Gary, he does it somewhat, right? But he's both carpets and chondros or whatever. But there's not a lot of people on the YouTube world that specifically talk about carpet pythons.
Right.
I'm probably missing somebody, and I'm sorry if I am. But
no, you're right. It's not.
I don't know of anybody. Yeah.
Right. So there's Lucas pops up, and I was like, I like this kid. This kid's got it going on. I don't know what it was. I'm just like but I really believe that like you're gonna go places in this reptile world, So it's almost like I'm like, I gotta get involved with this kid somehow. So like, I don't know. It's just like you want to keep the, and I just see like from when you first came on to now. I'm not saying that you weren't like smart then, but like, like you asked a question and you're just like, you have this, it's very Rob Stone-ish, very like, Justin Julander-ish, to where you talk in a way that I guess like I can understand, but at the same time, it's like,
academic.
You don't talk in definitives, which drives me crazy. Like you're very careful on saying, well, even the conversation we had earlier where you were saying like, what were we talking about when we were talking about wellness from being from different spots and stuff? And you're like, well, I don't know. But anyway,
well,
the Podfather has anointed you.
that means,
anoint you.
That means a lot. And I would just, again, turn the mirror back around to you and say that you're a big part of all of those things. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Here we are. Carpets.
Here we are.
Right on.
Snake Dad.
Yeah. It's I think, it's funny, right? We were talking about earlier about, and it was the same thing with Riley too, right? Riley was always like he was always sort of like again, when you talk, your knowledge just like I'm just blown away, like how do you know, and like how do you guys know about all these different things? It's like my brain only has so much hard drive space in it, and I'll just be like randomly like, so what do you think about boas? Oh well, there's this species and this species and this species and this species, and it's like, oh yeah. So
well, everybody likes to use the phrase "standing on the shoulders of giants," and I don't think Lucas and I would be inaccurate in saying we definitely have drawn a lot of influence from you guys even before our participation in the network, before it was even a network. I mean, everybody starts somewhere, right? And usually we're picking up from the people that are carrying the torch or whatever, the previous folks before us. And yeah, I mean, not to put any dates or timelines and make anybody feel old or anything like that, but like you're definitely like, you guys are definitely part of that generation that's ushering, the younger guys like Lucas and I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely a lot. I don't know where I fit in there.
And
Lucas. And like the younger people.
How old are you, Riley?
I'm gonna be 33 in a couple months.
Okay.
So I'm not. I'm like a weird half. Like I'm in that gray area. But like regardless, like it all applies. Like there's definitely people who come before us. We all draw our influences from somewhere. A lot of them overlap, and then along our way, we do what we do and sponge 100%. Up what we do. It's interesting. I think about that a lot because my trajectory going through school, like grade school, middle school, high school, college, and everything was always so frustrating because no matter how much I applied myself to things, nothing stuck, right? Didn't matter what it was. Like it just, like I just couldn't retain anything but reptile stuff or just like weird, I could like see it once or hear it once and it's like ingrained in me without even trying. And it just took me a long time to realize that I learn differently. I have ADHD, but that, because it is just so much part of me and like I'm genuinely excited about it, they just eat it up. There's like not enough time in the day to digest all that stuff, which is probably why I don't get a lot of other things done in my life. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, man.
So,
that's awesome.
Dude, I remember the early days of NPR when you were doing it live. Like, you want to talk throwback? That was the best, dude. Oh man, I can tell you, dude.
There was a certain something about that, yeah.
If my fiance was here, she would tell you, "Oh, Tuesday night, don't ask Riley to be out or helpful around dinner or anything." I'd get home from work and I'd like slam the door, and I'd be in the bedroom surrounded by all the snakes, just listening to the live, like and online with the chat and like. Yeah.
That brings me to what I was going to say, which was, it's like kind of bouncing off what Ben said here. I think there's just something so powerful about being part of a group and having a community that makes it's like a snowball effect. Like your passion bounces off of Riley's passion, bounces off of Eric's passion. And then you're just like surrounded by snakes in a freaking snake room. And
just the screenshots of your background, your backdrop exemplifies that 100%. Like if we just rewound the clock a year and every time you were on a podcast over the course of the year, you just see like
exactly
be like Super Mario back there
playing Legos. But going off of that too, I think the live shows, because I didn't catch those live, but when I discovered the show in college, and I just started binging the crap out of it. I'd listen to 2 or 3 episodes a day sometimes. It still felt like I was part of it because there was that live interaction. Even if it was like 5 years ago, like you still are like, oh, that's funny. That dude just said that. Like, it was more like it was alive. And these were, there were all these people in the room. And now when you're listening to it, you're in the room too. Time doesn't matter at that point. So,
hands down, really some of like the best experiences would be when Owen would just blatantly yell at me, "Shut up, Riley." I can't tell you how many times I've sat on like airplanes or long car rides or whatever. And
that's what I knew of you.
Like old episodes, and I wouldn't even register that I might have been listening to this live. And then all of a sudden, Owen would be, "Quiet, you! Shut up, Riley! Hey, Riley, shut up!"
That's how I knew about Riley. It was Owen saying, "Shut up, Riley," until I found out that he worked with my uncle, and then I was like, "Oh,
Mike." Oh yeah, crazy.
It's weird. I guess we don't think of it. It's so weird, right? We've been doing it for so long that we just don't. At least I don't. I don't think Owen thinks of it that way. And it's like, it's just like what I don't know. It's what we do on a Thursday night, and it used to be Tuesday, was Saturday for a while, and it's just I don't know. I think it's like I'm never going to be able to write a book like I would want to. I mean, I'm not, but it's like applying, figuring out what your lane is and then trying to do the best that you can. And like, I think that I've always been one that like sort of sees and talks to a lot of breeders, keepers that have a tremendous amount of knowledge, but don't have a way to sort of get it out into herpetoculture. And if you can provide that platform and have them to have a voice and, put whatever they're thinking about or thinking about things differently or whatever, that's sort of my lane, right? Just getting that to there. So, I hope years from now when I'm not here or gone, and hopefully NPR is still found somewhere on the internet somewhere, that somebody can reflect
me and
back
Riley will
onto
keep
it.
it alive.
Okay, very good.
The archive will never die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
Yes.
thinking about that. I was in my head about how can we somehow like archive this and yeah.
Well, we probably just have to keep paying the subscription. It'll be fine.
Hopefully, you still have patrons at that point. You can.
Yeah.
No, but it's a magical thing. It's a beautiful thing, and I think that it dwarfs a book what you have amassed and continue to amass, and now bringing so many other people into the discussion on so many different shows about so many different things.
Yeah.
And not everything has to be a book.
It would be a cool idea, though. You just gave me a great idea. Would be to put together a book that would be a compilation of whatever it shapes up to be per the contributor, whether it's just stories or an experience or something. But imagine a compilation of text entitled something like memoirs of a snake keeper, and then you have writings in there from people like Keith and Nick and Justin, and like anybody who's written everything that's still alive today that has something to contribute, which is kind of a lot. So it'd be multiple volumes. It could be like a work that is never completed, right? It's just, the generations need to carry the torch, so to speak. It could be one of those things, but I don't know. I could see that being a series of books that could be cherished over time. Even if everything else is gone, the internet falls apart, the world changes into something else, like whatever it is.
We're all in the metaverse.
Yeah, some shit. I don't know.
5G's turned all the frogs gay.
And then Kanye's our president, still mad about being called a gay fish.
He
likes fish sticks.
What a world.
Is this are we in a simulation or what? I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely we are. We're all plugged in. Somebody put more acid in this one.
That's exactly what Simulation Eric would say.
That is a great.
Yeah, that is a
great.
good idea. Write that down.
Yes. I'm gonna star that one. That one gets a star.
Eric, we can work on that.
Stars.
Yeah. So,
I see.
It's I don't know, man. That got my brain thinking for a minute there. Like,
another thing to brain button.
Yeah. Before we jump off, let's share a carpet python. I wanted to share a screen. Let's see.
I like carpet pythons.
Carpet python of the week.
Oh, it won't let me. Why won't it enlarge it?
Too much power.
Yeah, right. Let me see. Maybe I have to view. Maybe if I do this, I know what I'll do.
Sid asks, "How do we expand diversity in this hobby? Basically, how do we get out of the majority?" I think that's a wonderful topic, and I think it's a valid point, and I see it growing more and more. I don't know about you, but
diversity as far as species, or
the people getting involved, like people being involved, like from all different demographics. I've seen some like horribly racist thoughts portrayed on the internet about who shouldn't be allowed to keep, and it's pretty awful that there's still some archaic views like that. But I love seeing, especially like women keeping monitor lizards and doing stuff that men would be like, "Oh, careful, you're gonna hurt yourself." Like, I think it's awesome. I think anybody can do it.
I think as far as that goes, I would just think that I guess go ahead, Lucas.
I think that is a much longer and larger conversation.
It
will not do justice in 10 minutes. That being
That's a
said,
good point.
I think that there is an enormous amount of diversity of people that love reptiles and keep reptiles. I see every type of person from every walk of life
Mhm.
at the shop every day.
Oh yeah.
And I think that you can go on a very long conversation about how it is expensive to do, and then you get into a whole bunch of cultural considerations. Do certain groups of people have disproportionate amount of wealth, yada yada yada, etc. But I'm not going to go there today. I'm just going to say that I know NPR is a space that welcomes anybody and everybody. I'm Chinese. Alan's not white. You know, like if anybody wants to do a podcast, we don't care. Like, but
I just care about knowledge. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not relevant. So yeah,
it
I don't
is
know.
Nice. It is nice that there's no
Longer
expectations
conversation to
tied
have.
with it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Here's a carpet in a car.
There it is. Back to carpet.
There's carpets and coffee, and now we got carpets and cars.
Carpets and cars.
Can you imagine opening the hood of your car and seeing this big coastal carpet just sitting there? That is a cool snake, man.
I would be so late to work. I'd be like, "What? This is awesome!"
First of all, no wonder the carpet's going in there. Somebody's got to clean out this car.
Yeah.
Man. It's kind of looking dirty. But here's a.
That's probably why the snake's there. It probably hasn't moved.
Yeah.
Nice and toasty.
This is a better shot. There you go. Close up. It's in shed. Look how thick that snake is, man. Like,
and nice stripe too.
Yeah. Look at that beauty.
Where is this from?
Face. It is from. Hold on. Let me get the locality of where it was at. It was from Samford, Queensland, which is out west from Brisbane. So
nice. That's a beautiful snake.
Yeah, this is. Let me. What's it say? I'd say that car. What is it? What did Darren say? I'd say that car isn't being used. Yeah, probably right.
Probably
right. That's where it's from, right here.
That's
so
northwest of Brisbane.
Yep.
I always love the names of all the things in Australia. Jolly's Lookout. Like what?
Woobly doobly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
sorry.
Very, very good. I guess I think we done it, man.
Yeah.
We'll just
I'm gonna
put it there.
I'm gonna watch the A's game.
The A's game?
Yeah, go A's. Baseball, baby.
Very cool. Okay. You're a baseball guy more than any other sport?
Yeah, it's the only one I watch.
Okay. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was raised in like Raiders country, so that wasn't super great.
Yeah, you're wise.
Went to like one Raiders game with my dad.
You're better than that, Lucas.
Somebody threw up on my shoes. I was like, this isn't for me.
Makes you feel any better? I went to a Niners game and saw a dude snap a cane in half and try to like stab a dude. Fight a guy in a Marshall Falk jersey. I was like, oh shit.
That's amateur hour for Philly.
Sports brings out the best in people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna do a Patreon stream tomorrow. I think it's just going to be me and Owen because I think you guys are working and whatnot. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a private Patreon chat tomorrow for the month. And so I know Darren was asking about that. And I also saw that he still didn't get his calendar. I didn't get a chance to answer him back. So I guess I'm just going to give him money back and send him another calendar. I don't know. So we're in May almost. So, I feel bad about that.
We'll take care of you, Darren. Somehow.
I know I mailed it out. I mailed some to Australia and they went. And for whatever reason, Scott's didn't it came back to me twice. So I don't know what the difference is. But
it has COVID on it. They're like, get this American shit out of here.
No. I got you, Darren. No worries. So I guess in closing, I'll close this out and say our little thing here, and then
Yes,
you guys can
sir.
put your
Yes,
2 cents
sir.
in there. So if you want to support the network and what we do at NPR, here are a few ways. Check out our website, stay up to date with what we have going on, MoreliaPythonRadio.com. If you want to get in touch with us, reach out at info@MoreliaPythonRadio.com. If you keep reptiles of any kind and you're here in the U.S., I urge you to support USARK. You can join up in $5 a month donation. You can, if you don't have that, then at least sign up for their newsletter. And I would also recommend that you go to their YouTube page so you can hear directly from the horse's mouth. I think that was a genius idea for Phil to be able to go onto a YouTube channel and just put out what's going on. So there's that. So the other things you can do, you can follow us on all the shows that we have on the network, whatever podcast app that you use. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, the NPR network. You can catch us Carpets and Coffee live. And then all the other podcasts get uploaded onto there. I have been I've been taking a shot at video editing, and I was trying to do a couple short clips of the past trip,
Nice.
of the past trip from California. So some cool footage of some rattlesnakes and some different snakes burrowing in the sand and stuff like that. So that's
Nice.
cool. The cool lizard stuff as well. So look out for that. Follow us on Instagram or our Facebook page, NPR Network. If you like a particular episode, or like I remember when Zach talked about snake digestion, that episode should be shared around everywhere. That's just a fantastic episode. So if there's something that you got some information from whoever guest was on, you should definitely share that around to help people become better keepers. Maybe they're looking for that info. So please share around. We also are working on the Teespring Store. Owen seems to have taken that under his wing. However, he just pushes the work back to me. So somehow keeps getting put on pause. So we're going to get some stickers. That seems to be something that people are really into these days. So we're going to make that happen. And I think you're working with Owen with that, Riley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that should be something if I just sit down, we can bang that out. So
yeah, so we got that going on, and then finally we have the Patreon page. I feel always funny about pushing that and whatnot, but I appreciate everybody that that is a patron, and we really appreciate it, and it helps us continue to bring all these different podcasts that we got going on. The newest one, Boa, I think will be up on Apple on Monday when it's technically supposed to be released. Other than that, I know you can listen to it now on Spotify, and it just got approved today for Google. So if you are on those platforms, you can check it out. Boas,
and boas, fellas, get you some.
Right.
Yes.
What else? That's all I got. That's
okay. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can find me everywhere. Centralian Exotics. This is a Brettles python. People, if you like snakes, you like Brettles pythons, get you some.
That's right.
DM me. This could be yours. Look at the stripe. Only if you're responsible.
Whoa, judgment.
Just kidding. All right, Riley.
You can find me on everything pretty much just under Riley's Reptiles, and on YouTube under just my name, Riley Jimson. I too have a Teespring store, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Ben likes Brettles. We all like Brettles.
Yep.
Get yourself some.
Get you some.
Get you some red black snakes.
Today is Treat Yourself Day. Go see Lucas.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'll give you the family discount. Just give me the promo code Riley's Bald Head at checkout.
Oh.
All right.
I'm still lucky. I'm still lucky here. Yeah. Right.
I love you, Riley. Your hair does not define you.
Yes. Well, you make up for it. See, you got it
Yeah.
all going on.
Mine
down
just
here, man.
does not do well against
Balance
gravity.
out.
That's all.
Oh, it's all right.
It's just
Nothing wrong
gravity.
with that.
Just
Gravity outweighs wind in the air.
Yeah, right. All right. I guess we are out.
Yep, we are.
See